In a distant galaxy, a young alien girl named Liora is abandoned by her race on a desolate planet. Chained and left to perish, her captors view her as an outcast, unworthy of their society. Meanwhile, Ethan, a human explorer and archaeologist, discovers the planet while searching for ancient alien artifacts. Mistaking Liora's chains for elaborate alien jewelry, he rescues her, unaware of the profound bond they will form. Together they navigate the vastness of space, confronting their respective pasts, battling interstellar threats, and uncovering secrets that could change the fate of both their species. As they journey through the cosmos, their friendship evolves into a deep connection, challenging the boundaries of their worlds. And so, the story begins. The barren landscape stretched out under a blood-red sky, the wind whispering secrets to the unyielding rocks. Ethan's spaceship, a sleek craft of chrome and cobalt, descended with a low hum, kicking up dust and debris. He checked his scanners, confirming the coordinates. As the ramp lowered, Ethan shouldered his pack and stepped onto the planet's surface, his boots crunching on the dry ground. His mission was simple: explore the ancient ruins scattered across this desolate world and collect any valuable artifacts. Yet his heart beat with the thrill of discovery, the unknown calling to him. As he wandered through the remains of an old city, his eyes caught something gleaming in the sunlight. Approaching cautiously, he saw what appeared to be a figure, slumped against a column, bound by what seemed to be elaborate chains. His pulse quickened at the sight of the intricate metalwork. Kneeling beside the figure, Ethan gently touched the chains, marveling at the craftsmanship. "Incredible," he murmured. "This must be some kind of ceremonial jewelry." A faint groan escaped the figure, and Ethan jumped back, startled. The figure, a young alien girl, slowly opened her eyes, revealing deep violet irises filled with fear and confusion. Her skin, a soft shade of blue, shimmered slightly in the light. Ethan raised his hands, speaking softly. "Hey, it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." The girl flinched, trying to move away, but the chains held her fast. Ethan realized his mistake and quickly rummaged through his pack, pulling out a universal translator. Placing it in his ear, he spoke again. "Can you understand me?" The girl's eyes widened in recognition, but she remained silent, her breathing rapid and shallow. Ethan carefully reached for the chains, studying them for a release mechanism. After a few tense moments, he found a hidden latch, and the chains fell away with a clatter. The girl cringed, drawing her knees to her chest. Ethan offered her a canteen of water, his eyes gentle. "Here, drink. You need it." She eyed him warily before accepting the canteen, drinking greedily. Ethan waited patiently, offering her a protein bar next. As she ate, he observed the remnants of her shackles, noting the wear and tear. "Who did this to you?" he asked softly. Her voice, though weak, carried a note of defiance. "Why did you save me?" Ethan smiled gently. "I'm an explorer. I thought those chains were jewelry. But now, I just want to help." She studied him for a long moment before speaking again. "My name is Liora." "Ethan," he replied, offering his hand. She hesitated before taking it, her grip surprisingly firm. With Liora now free, Ethan helped her to her feet. "We need to get out of here," he said, glancing around. "It's not safe." She nodded, her eyes scanning the horizon. Together they made their way back to his spaceship, the silence between them heavy with unspoken questions. As they ascended the ramp, Liora glanced back at the planet, a mixture of relief and sorrow in her eyes. Inside the spaceship, Ethan showed her to a seat and began the launch sequence. The engines roared to life, and soon they were breaking free of the planet's atmosphere, the stars stretching out before them. Liora sat quietly, her hands clenched in her lap. Ethan glanced over, offering a reassuring smile. "You're safe now. We'll figure this out together." For the first time, a small smile touched Liora's lips. "Thank you, Ethan." As they journeyed through the vastness of space, the seed of trust began to grow between them, setting the stage for an adventure neither of them could have anticipated. The spaceship glided smoothly through the expanse of space, stars and distant galaxies visible through the viewport. Ethan glanced over at Liora, who was exploring the control panels with a mix of curiosity and caution. "This ship is our home now," Ethan said, breaking the silence. "Feel free to explore." Liora nodded, her fingers lightly brushing the cool surfaces of the panels. "Your technology is so different from ours," she murmured, her voice tinged with awe. Ethan smiled. "I guess it would be. There's a lot to learn from each other." Their peaceful exploration was abruptly interrupted as the ship's sensors beeped an urgent warning. Ethan frowned, checking the readouts. "A space anomaly," he muttered. "Hold on." Liora's eyes widened as the ship shuddered, veering away from the anomaly's pull. "What is it?" she asked, her voice laced with fear. "Some kind of gravitational distortion," Ethan explained, his hands moving swiftly over the controls. "We need to get clear of it." With skill and precision, he navigated the ship away from the anomaly, the danger passing as quickly as it had appeared. Liora let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "That was close," Ethan said, wiping sweat from his brow. "But we're okay." Liora sat back, her heart still pounding. "Thank you," she said softly, "for saving me again." Ethan waved off her gratitude. "We're a team now. We look out for each other." As they settled back into their journey, Ethan decided it was time for some explanations. "I'm on a mission to find ancient artifacts," he told Liora, "to learn about different cultures and histories." Liora listened intently, her eyes shining with interest. "My people. We have many stories and secrets," she said, her voice growing distant. "But I can't remember much. It's all so fragmented." Ethan reached out, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We'll piece it together," he assured her, "one step at a time." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden jolt. The ship's alarms blared as Ethan checked the sensors. "We've got company," he said grimly. "An alien ship is pursuing us." Fear flashed in Liora's eyes. "They found me." Ethan tightened his grip on the controls. "Not if I have anything to say about it." The chase was intense, with the alien ship closing in fast. Ethan's fingers flew over the controls, evading laser fire and debris. "Hang on," he shouted, executing a daring maneuver that sent them into a nearby asteroid field. Liora clung to her seat, her fear palpable. "Will we make it?" "We have to," Ethan replied, his jaw set with determination. Weaving through the asteroids, Ethan used the natural cover to their advantage. The pursuing ship struggled to keep up, its shots going wide as it maneuvered through the hazardous field. Finally, with a burst of speed, Ethan broke free of the asteroid field, the alien ship left far behind. He let out a triumphant shout, the tension in the cockpit easing. Liora sagged in her seat, relief washing over her. "Thank you," she said again, her voice trembling. "You saved us." Ethan glanced over, his expression softening. "We're in this together, Liora. We'll keep each other safe." As they continued their journey, the bond between them grew stronger, each challenge forging a deeper connection. The vastness of space stretched out before them, full of unknown dangers and discoveries, but together, they were ready to face whatever came their way. Ethan's spaceship coasted silently through the inky blackness of space, a vast derelict space station coming into view. Its metal hull was pockmarked with age and covered in ancient alien script. "This is it," Ethan murmured, his excitement palpable. As they docked, Ethan and Liora donned their helmets and stepped into the eerie silence of the space station. The air was stale, filled with the scent of decay and disuse. Their footsteps echoed through the shadowy corridors, the dim lights flickering sporadically. They moved cautiously, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. "Look," Liora whispered, pointing to a faint glow emanating from a room ahead. They approached, discovering a chamber filled with relics, the centerpiece being a pulsating artifact on a pedestal. Ethan's eyes widened. "Incredible," he breathed, reaching out to touch it. The artifact was cool and smooth, its energy humming beneath his fingertips. Liora stepped forward, her expression one of recognition. "This artifact. It's part of my people's history," she said, her voice trembling. Memories flickered in her mind, fragments of a forgotten past. Before they could explore further, The sound of footsteps echoed through the chamber. Ethan and Liora turned to see a group of scavengers, their eyes gleaming with greed. "Hand over the artifact, and we might let you live," the leader snarled. Ethan's grip tightened on the artifact. "Not a chance," he replied, his voice steady. A tense standoff ensued, the air thick with anticipation. Suddenly, a shot rang out, shattering the silence. Chaos erupted as both sides clashed, the room filled with the sounds of blaster fire and shouts. Liora ducked behind a column, her heart pounding. Ethan fought fiercely, his determination unwavering. Amidst the chaos, the artifact's energy surged, illuminating the chamber with a blinding light. Liora felt a rush of memories, her past flooding back in vivid detail. With newfound clarity, she sprang into action, joining Ethan in the fight. Together, they overpowered the scavengers, their teamwork seamless. As the last of the scavengers fled, Ethan and Liora stood panting, the artifact still glowing brightly. "We need to get out of here," Ethan said, his voice urgent. Liora nodded, clutching the artifact to her chest. They hurried back to the spaceship, the derelict station fading into the distance as they made their escape. Back on the ship, Ethan set the artifact on a table, studying it intently. "We need to understand its power before others do," he said. Liora nodded, her eyes filled with determination. "And I need to understand my past," she added softly. The artifact pulsed gently, a beacon of hope in the vastness of space. In the safety of their spaceship, Ethan and Liora began studying the artifact. Its surface was etched with intricate designs, glowing softly under their scrutiny. Ethan connected it to his analyzer, hoping to unlock its secrets. As they worked, an alarm sounded, signaling an approaching ship. Ethan glanced at the sensors, his eyes widening in surprise. "It's an alien vessel," he said, "but they're not hostile." They opened communication channels, and a friendly voice greeted them. "Greetings, travelers. We are the Zilara, allies of the stars. May we assist you?" Ethan and Liora exchanged a hopeful glance. "We could use some help understanding an artifact we found," Ethan said. The Zilara ship docked with theirs, and a group of aliens boarded, their features gentle and welcoming. They examined the artifact, their eyes widening in recognition. "This is a relic of the ancients," one of the Zilara said. "It holds great power and wisdom." Liora's heart raced. "Can you help us decipher it?" she asked, her voice tinged with hope. The Zilara nodded. "We can," they replied. They worked together, unlocking the artifact's secrets piece by piece. As they did, a holographic message appeared, depicting Liora's ancestors and their history. Tears filled Liora's eyes as she watched the message. This is my heritage," she whispered, her voice breaking. Ethan placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, his expression filled with empathy. The message revealed coordinates to Liora's home planet, a place she had long forgotten. "We need to go there," Liora said, determination shining in her eyes. "I need to uncover the truth." Ethan nodded. "We'll go together," he said. "You're not alone in this." The Zilara provided them with crucial information about the journey ahead. "Your path will be fraught with challenges," one of the Zilara warned, "but you must persevere. The truth is worth it." As they prepared for their journey, Liora felt a mix of fear and excitement. She was on the brink of discovering her origins, of understanding who she truly was. With Ethan by her side, she felt ready to face whatever lay ahead. The Zilara bid them farewell, their ship departing with a graceful sweep through space. Ethan and Liora set course for the coordinates, the vastness of space stretching out before them. As they traveled, the bond between them deepened, forged through shared experiences and mutual respect. They spent hours talking, learning more about each other's worlds and histories. Their friendship grew stronger, a beacon of hope in the uncharted territories they were about to explore. The journey from the alien allies' planet began smoothly, the vastness of space stretching out before them. Liora spent much of her time at the viewport, her eyes reflecting the stars as she contemplated the upcoming visit to her homeworld. Ethan joined her, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We'll get there, and we'll find the answers you need." Liora nodded, her resolve strengthening. "Thank you, Ethan, for everything." Their peaceful voyage was suddenly interrupted by the blaring of alarms. Ethan rushed to the control panel, his eyes narrowing as he saw the incoming threat. "Space pirates," he muttered. "Get to the weapons system, Liora." The pirates' ships, sleek and menacing, closed in on them, firing volleys of laser beams. Ethan's spaceship shook with the impact, the lights flickering. "Hang on," he shouted, deftly maneuvering the ship to avoid further damage. Liora, her hands trembling, activated the ship's defense systems. "I've got the lasers online," she called out, targeting the closest pirate ship. The battle was intense. The space around them lit up with explosions and streaks of laser fire. Ethan's face was a mask of concentration as he executed daring maneuvers, evading the pirates' attacks. Liora fired the ship's weapons, her aim steady despite the chaos. One of the pirate ships managed to land a critical hit, and the spaceship shuddered violently. "We're taking heavy damage," Ethan said, his voice tense. "We need to get out of here." With a burst of speed, Ethan navigated the ship towards Liora's home planet, the pirates hot on their trail. The planet loomed ahead, its surface dotted with lush forests and ancient ruins. As they entered the atmosphere, the pirates' pursuit intensified. Ethan pushed the ship to its limits, narrowly avoiding disaster as they descended. Finally, they managed to lose the pirates, landing roughly in a clearing amidst the towering trees. The spaceship was in bad shape, smoke billowing from its engines. Ethan and Liora emerged, their relief palpable. "We need to repair the ship before we can explore," Ethan said, assessing the damage. Liora looked around, the surroundings familiar yet distant. "This place feels like a memory," she murmured, her voice tinged with emotion. They worked together to make temporary repairs, their bond growing stronger through the shared struggle. As night fell, they set up camp, the stars twinkling above them. Liora sat by the fire, her gaze distant. "I remember stories of this place," she said softly, "of a great city hidden within these forests. A city of knowledge and power." Ethan listened, his curiosity piqued. "We'll find it, Liora, and we'll uncover the truth." The next morning, they set out to explore the planet, the air fresh and filled with the scent of blooming flowers. The sound of waterfalls and alien wildlife created a serene yet mysterious atmosphere. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon ancient ruins, overgrown with moss and vines. Liora's eyes widened with recognition. "This is it," she whispered, "the entrance to the hidden city." They carefully made their way through the ruins, the anticipation building. The hidden city awaited, holding the secrets of Liora's past and the key to their future. The entrance to the hidden city was concealed behind a dense wall of foliage. Ethan and Liora pushed through the thick undergrowth, revealing a grand archway adorned with glowing glyphs. The sight took their breath away. "This is incredible," Ethan said, his voice filled with awe. "The architecture, the technology, it's beyond anything I've ever seen." Liora approached the archway, her fingers tracing the ancient symbols. "I remember. This city was once my home," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. "I was just a child when I left." Ethan placed a comforting hand on her back. "We're here now. Let's uncover its secrets together." They stepped through the archway, entering a vast city filled with towering statues and intricate buildings. The air was cool and filled with the scent of ancient stone and fresh greenery. Their footsteps echoed through the deserted streets, adding to the eerie yet majestic atmosphere. As they explored, they encountered various traps and challenges designed to protect the city's secrets. Ethan's resourcefulness and Liora's knowledge of her people's technology allowed them to navigate the dangers. In the heart of the city, they found a central chamber filled with ancient writings and advanced technology. Ethan's eyes sparkled with excitement as he examined the relics. "This technology is centuries ahead of anything we have," he said, his voice tinged with reverence. Liora's attention was drawn to a pedestal in the center of the chamber, where the artifact they had found on the derelict space station fit perfectly. As she placed the artifact on the pedestal, it activated, revealing a holographic message from her ancestors. The message told the story of her people, their rise to power, and the tragic events that led to their downfall. Liora's heart ached as she watched, the memories flooding back. "This is who I am," she whispered, her voice filled with both sorrow and pride. As the message ended, they heard footsteps approaching. They turned to see a group of elderly aliens, remnants of Liora's people, who had been hiding in the city. The leader, an elder with wise eyes, stepped forward. "You have returned," as the prophecy foretold, he said, his voice filled with emotion. Liora's eyes widened. "Prophecy?" she asked, her voice trembling. The elder nodded. "Yes, you are the one destined to unite our people and restore our legacy." Ethan and Liora exchanged a look, the weight of the revelation settling over them. "What do we need to do?" Ethan asked, his voice steady. The elder smiled. "The artifact holds the key to our survival. You must protect it and use its power to rebuild what was lost." As they absorbed the elder's words, Liora felt a surge of determination. "We will do whatever it takes," she said, her voice strong. "We will honor my ancestors and restore our people." The elder placed a hand on her shoulder, his eyes filled with hope. "You have the strength and the heart to lead us. Together, we will reclaim our legacy." With a newfound sense of purpose, Ethan and Liora prepared to face the challenges ahead. The hidden city had revealed its secrets, but their journey was far from over. The weight of history and the promise of the future guided them as they stepped into the unknown. In the war room of the hidden city, holographic maps and tactical displays filled the air with a soft glow. Ethan and Liora stood at the center, surrounded by representatives of various alien races. The gravity of the situation weighed heavily on everyone present. Ethan addressed the assembled leaders, his voice steady and authoritative. "We have uncovered a galactic threat tied to this artifact. It holds immense power, and if it falls into the wrong hands, it could mean the end of us all." The alien leaders exchanged worried glances. An elder from Liora's people, who had been guiding them, stepped forward. "We must form alliances and prepare for the confrontation. Unity is our only hope." Liora's heart raced as she listened. Her people's history was marred with mistakes and failures, but now she had a chance to make things right. "I will do whatever it takes to prevent this threat," she vowed. "We must not repeat the mistakes of the past." The leaders nodded in agreement, their determination evident. Plans were drawn, strategies discussed, and alliances formed. Each race contributed their strengths, pooling resources and knowledge for the upcoming battle. As the meeting concluded, Ethan and Liora found a quiet moment together. "Are you ready for this?" Ethan asked gently. Liora took a deep breath, her eyes reflecting both fear and resolve. "I have to be. My people depend on it. And so does the galaxy." Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We'll face this together. You're not alone." The preparations were intense, with every able being contributing to the war effort. Weapons were readied, ships were fueled, and strategies were refined. Liora worked tirelessly, her leadership qualities emerging with each passing day. One evening, Ethan and Liora stood on a balcony overlooking the hidden city. The sky was a deep indigo, dotted with stars. "I never imagined I'd be here, doing this," Liora admitted, her voice soft. Ethan smiled. "Life has a way of surprising us. But look how far we've come." Liora looked at him, gratitude shining in her eyes. "I couldn't have done it without you." Ethan's expression turned serious. "We'll need every bit of strength and courage for what's ahead. But I believe in us. We can do this." Their bond had grown stronger, forged through shared trials and mutual respect. They were ready to face the final confrontation, united in their determination to protect the galaxy. The Allied forces mobilized, their ships forming a vast armada in the star-studded expanse of space. The sense of impending battle hung heavy in the air, but the resolve of the united races was unwavering. Ethan and Liora stood on the bridge of their ship, the artifact secured and ready. "This is it," Ethan said, his voice filled with determination. "We fight for everyone we've lost and everyone we can still save." Liora nodded, her eyes fierce. "With this artifact, we can end this war and bring peace." The journey to the location of the galactic threat was fraught with tension. Initial skirmishes erupted as the enemy forces, a dark and formidable fleet, closed in. Explosions lit up the vast battlefield, and the sounds of engines roaring and weapons firing filled the air. Ethan navigated their ship with precision, dodging enemy fire and coordinating with the Allied forces. Liora stood by his side, her hands on the artifact, ready to unleash its power at the crucial moment. The climax of the battle was intense, with heavy losses on both sides. Ships were destroyed, and lives were lost, but the Allied forces pressed on, driven by their determination to protect their worlds. Amidst the chaos, Ethan and Liora found themselves at the heart of the enemy fleet. Now Ethan shouted over the noise. Liora activated the artifact, its energy surging and radiating outwards. The enemy ships faltered, their systems overwhelmed by the artifact's power. The tide of the battle began to turn as the Allied forces rallied, pushing the enemy back. With a final, desperate push, Ethan and Liora's ship penetrated the enemy command vessel. They fought their way to the core, where the enemy commander awaited them. "You will never defeat us," the commander snarled. Liora stepped forward, the artifact glowing brightly in her hands. "This ends now," she declared, unleashing the artifact's full power. The enemy commander screamed as the energy consumed him, the ship disintegrating around them. Ethan and Liora made a daring escape, returning to their ship just as the enemy fleet began to collapse. The Allied forces cheered as the remnants of the enemy were scattered, their threat neutralized. As the dust settled and the aftermath of the battle became clear, Ethan and Liora reflected on their journey. They had faced insurmountable odds and emerged victorious, their bond stronger than ever. Liora looked out at the stars, her heart filled with hope. "We did it," she said softly. "We saved them." Ethan stood beside her, pride and relief in his eyes. "Together we can accomplish anything." Their journey had been long and arduous, but they had triumphed through unity, sacrifice, and the strength of their bond. The galaxy was safe, and a new era of peace and cooperation had begun.